Hello everyone and welcome back to another adventure with Captain Numbnut. My name is Giangani and we are playing on the map called Strait with our trusty battleship, the Colorado. But first, before we start this, let's scare an AFK that is just standing still in front of us. I love doing this. This is one of my most fun parts. And I always try to get as close as possible, closer for each time I pass them. This is pretty much the closest I've ever been to another allied ship. Just to give them a little scare that they should actually be here when they start the battle. But anyway, my plans for playing this match is like every other match I play on this map, which is moving forward a little closer and then turning my broadside towards the enemy and opening all my guns at them. But that plan is going to have to change because I am finding myself at the foremost, because both the cruisers and the battleship that are on my side this part of the map are not even moving yet. One has started to move, but that puts me up in the front of the battle, which means that every single ship on the enemy side are now targeting me and laying down some heavy fire on me. This forces me to abandon my plans of sailing north while firing my guns at one of the targets that are of my choosing, and I need to pull back in order to not show my broadside, which is very idiotic, you might say. No, it is idiotic to face that many ships and face them with your broadside. That's gonna take you down pretty fast. So I need to make myself as small as possible target for them to hit me. One got in a really good hit here, take me down to 32,000 hit points, and try to avoid being citadeled. Meanwhile, one of the cruisers is going north, the other one is going into the island to the south, probably to go down to the other side, joining up with the rest of the fleet. And the battleship is also turning around, probably when he saw me coming back. But most of the enemy team are also moving south into the center of the map, and most of the southern group are also moving upwards. So apparently both groups are thinking the same thing. Let's group up with the other group, and yeah. So I'm going to soon turn around again and re-engage, doing some horrible shooting in the meanwhile, not getting in any hits of significant damage. Trying so hard but missing even worse. So I am not able to actually figure out where to aim the guns. Apparently it should be relatively easy by now, but for some reason I am not doing the damage that I am accustomed to doing. So here comes a cruiser. I fire a couple of shots, but I'm not gonna waste the rest because it looks like those torpedoes are going to hit, and indeed they are, taking down the second enemy cruiser. Meanwhile, we have lost only one destroyer. My attention switches to New Mexico in the middle of the map, I fire a couple of ranging shots to judge if I'm on target or not. I adjust a little and then fire the rest of the salvos. And we get 3 hits for 9,500 hit points. I decide to move my ship into the B capture zone in order to keep it safe from any enemy capturings. And that's when I notice a destroyer popping up in front of me, far, just out of range, moving towards that cruiser up north. And I'm gonna have to keep that in mind, because if that cruiser can't take him out, then he can very likely swing over to my side and torpedo me. The New Mexico is down, so I need to find another target to hit. And that's when a second destroyer catches my attention. And without any other better targets to fire at, I decide to just fire my AP shells, hoping to discourage him from entering this zone, and then immediately switching over to high explosives, just in case he's not persuaded by that. I take a quick look over to where I spotted the first destroyer, and I quickly conclude that the cruiser has failed to take it out, and it has now become a very high likely potential threat to me, and I need to pay attention to the minimap for any red triangles coming towards me or circling from above. The high explosives has been reloaded. I'm waiting for my guns to come about, and I'm getting ready to fire at the second destroyer in the middle of the map. I'm just about to fire at it, and I see it turning, but then it turns back and then turns all the way around again. So I fire 1 shot, 2 shots, 3 shots, then it looks like it's turning again, but it's not, and it's dead. Meanwhile, our southern part of the fleet has done a formidable job at wiping out most of the southern enemy group, and are now in the process of capturing the A capture point. Some torpedoes are coming in on us, but they shouldn't be too hard to avoid. And it looks like that cruiser is going to hit, or at least stop for those rocks. So we're gonna wait until it stops and then fire. And we get our first kill of the match. Now there's only 2 more destroyers. I notice that I'm being detected, but it disappears, so it can't be any destroyers close by. There are the last 2 battleships are on this side of the map, so I go for the one I can see, a New Mexico battleship, fire off the remaining guns. That's when I realize that I'm still on high explosives, so I switch over to AP and turn my guns over to the left side and heading north to start laying down some fire on that New Mexico. Meanwhile, that destroyer we were worried about earlier has apparently moved southwards and are now being attacked by the southern fleet. We judge the range on the scale, take a ranging shot. It looks like it's gonna be a good one, so we fire the second turret. The back turrets are still moving, but once they are around, we fire them as well. And we get in some hits. New Mexico is now turning towards us. Looks like he might be going for the capture, and we definitely have gotten his attention because he's now firing at us. I tried to turn the other way again and slow him down so he would overshoot us, but unfortunately I was not reacting fast enough. Should have slowed down as soon as I saw the shots coming in, but we get in another 3 hits on the New Mexico. We're waiting for the reload, and we are judging if it's horizontal or not. We fire the front guns and then the rear guns, and we gotta get another 4 hits on it. We're still not doing the kinds of damage that we should be able to do. We only had 1 citadel hit on all the ships we've been firing on, which is pretty much the one we signed. So we fire off our everything, hoping to do massive amounts of damage, and again we're not doing that great damage against it. Getting a little frustrated over that, and really want to sink it. We judge the distance again, and he is turning, so we're firing 1 shot after the other, and we only get three turrets to fire because we are turning too much. So we still have 2 shots left, which we take there. It looks really good, and we get a kill. 2 destroyers have been mopped up by the rest of the fleet, and now only the Nagato remains. I launched my little airplane to get a little more range, so I can fire at the retreating Nagato.
That was a great battle.
It looks too short. I might have been able to hit with at least 1 shell if the Nagato wouldn't have turned his ass. But that's World of Warships. Fire off another round, but the game is over. Our side is victorious. We were able to sink 2 ships. We got 1 citadels. We did almost 79,000 damage, and we ended up on 2nd place in this battle. That's it for this episode. A little shorter than the previous ones, but if you liked what you saw, hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you all next time.